Tonight's royalty-free play is a part of a fantastic collection of plays for kids and teens on Drama Notebook. Lovington High School's Wildcat Theater welcomes you to a trick-a-drama. Sit back and enjoy tonight's production of Jordan R. Young's The Man Who Loved Clocks.
Once there was a man named Abraham.
He was named after a character in the Bible.
And he was very, 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 very old.
He lived all alone
In a tiny wooden house.
On top of a great big hill.
He hardly ever talked to anyone.
and no one hardly ever talked to him.
Abraham wore a long black coat.
It was very, 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 very,
Very,
Very
very.
very
long.
He also wore a big black hat.
and he wore them day and night.
Abraham had a long white beard.
It was the longest
Thickest,
Hairiest.
beard in the world.
it was so thick he could not run a comb through it.
But it was soft and warm.
In the winter, there were birds living in it.
Abraham was very poor and had very little furniture.
There was a small bed where he slept,
An old chair,
A broken table.
and a little refrigerator that almost never, ever had any food in it.
One day, a cat came to visit Abraham.
What's for lunch?
You're too early.
It's 2 o'clock, and I'm hungry.
I don't serve lunch until 3.
The cat looked all over for something to eat.
I'm starving.
But she couldn't find anything, so she ran away.
Abraham liked to go for long walks around town.
But he didn't walk because he liked to walk.
He walked because he liked to find things.
He found all sorts of things.
Buttons from old Navy uniforms.
Rocks that looked like bones.
Leaves that looked like grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers that looked like leaves.
One Sunday, Abraham found an old penny.
He pretended it was a gold piece and put it in his pocket.
Then he found a real treasure.
A butterfly.
This is the most beautiful butterfly I've ever seen.
It was orange and black, and red and blue, and yellow and purple.
He wanted to keep it.
But he knew he had to set it free.
There was one thing Abraham liked to do better than anything else.
Better than sleeping.
Better than walking.
Better than finding things.
Every Tuesday, he would walk up and down the streets where people lived.
He went to each house and knocked on the door.
It was the only time he ever talked to anyone.
and anyone ever talked to him.
Got any old clocks?
Sorry, not today.
Got any clocks that don't work? Got any clocks you don't want anymore?
On a good Tuesday, Abraham collected 4 or 5 clocks.
Nothing made him happier.
He would have loved to have been a grandfather.
But he didn't have any grandchildren.
So he adopted all the clocks he could find and gave them a home.
Abraham liked clocks since he was a small boy.
He was always fascinated by time.
Clocks apart and study their inner workings and try to fix them.
He tried to imagine how a little clock could relate to the movement of the sun.
And the stars.
And the planets.
And the rotation of the earth herself.
Sometimes he would think and dream on those things for hours.
He would have loved to have been a grandfather clock.
Made of polished oak wood.
With a shiny brass face.
He would have kept perfect time.
And made a crisp, clear tick-tock sound.
Of time passing by.
Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. There was hardly anything in the house, but there were always lots of clocks.
And that made Abraham feel very rich.
There were big clocks,
Little clocks.
Dirty clocks,
clean clocks,
wooden clocks,
plastic clocks.
Yellow clocks.
green clocks.
There were clocks sitting on shelves and clocks hanging on walls.
There were clocks on top of the refrigerator.
And clocks in the refrigerator.
The funny thing is that only one of Abraham's clocks actually worked.
And sometimes, when it was quiet, the sound of the clock was all you could hear.
One day, Abraham woke up late.
He sat and looked at his beautiful clocks.
They did not work, but they were beautiful just the same.
But as he sat there, he suddenly realized something.
There's no more room for any more clocks.
This made him very sad.
Very, 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 very sad.
There are so many clocks, there's no room to walk. I don't know what to do. I can't possibly throw all of them away. But as long as I have my clock friends around, I'm never, ever, ever, ever lonely. But I simply have too many clocks. Maybe I could give some of the clocks away to people who don't have any. But I'd never see them again. What to do with this great clock puzzle?
What to do?
What to do?
What to do?
What to do?
Puzzle, 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 puzzle.
Then one day, Abraham was taking a walk near his house.
Saw a small museum and went inside.
It was a nice museum with many beautiful sculptures and paintings.
Abraham sat down and thought for a moment.
He thought long and hard.
Very, 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 very hard.
I would like to speak to the person in charge.
How may I help you, sir?
I have a big collection of clocks, and I don't know what to do with them all.
I don't know.
I would like to donate my clocks to the museum.
I'm terribly sorry, sir. I don't think we can accept your generous offer.
Yes, but
I'm sorry, I don't think we have room for your collection.
poppycock.
I beg your pardon?
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Yes, but you see...
No, I don't see.
But, sir...
I would like to talk to your supervisor.
What's the matter?
I would like very much donate my clock collection to the museum.
May I take a look at them?
Do you like what you see?
Yes, but I don't believe it. I can't believe how many clocks there are. Do they all work?
No, only one of them.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I like them anyway. I like them very much.
Very, 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 very much.
The next day, the woman sent 2 people to pick up the clocks.
There were 847 of them.
Abraham sat down, watched as they were placed in a truck.
I'm really going to miss my friends. But I'm very excited they're going to have a new home.
All the clocks were put in a little room in the museum.
All 847 of them.
They were neatly arranged on shelves and display cases.
Abraham visited his clocks every day.
Many other people visited the display too.
But Abraham was so happy looking at his clocks, he never noticed them.
Hours looking at them until it was closing time.
Hours and hours and hours and hours.
One cold winter morning, Abraham went to the museum as usual.
When he arrived, he saw a sign on the door.
But the cleaning lady let him in because she knew he was there to visit his clocks.
Abraham smiled at her as she went to the room and closed the door.
Minutes turned to hours, but Abraham did not come out of the room.
The security guard came to tell him they were locking up and all going home.
It's time to go now. The museum is very clean and we're all very tired.
Very, 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 very clean.
Very, 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 very tired.
But there was no sign of Abraham.
The guard looked everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found.
Then the guard heard something unusual.
It was a crisp, clear tick-tock sound.
Of time passing by.
Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
Then the guard looked in the corner and saw something he had never seen before.
A beautiful grandfather clock.
Made of polished oak wood.
With a shiny brass face.
What a wonderful clock!
Abraham would love it.
He'd simply adore it.
He'd worship it.
If only we could find
Him!